worshiptutorials.com.
Hello everybody.
In this video we are seeking to answer the question, can the Quad Cortex P&W, how does it stand up to the effects laden, reverb and delay drenched praise and worship-ish tones? We're going to go ahead and answer that question right now off the top. TLDR, yes. It can. So the answer is yes, of course. It can P&W. It can do all the things that you might need to do on a Sunday morning, playing the songs that we play in modern praise and worship. That was a mouthful, a long sentence. At this point, we've had the unit for, what, about a week?
Yeah.
Not quite.
Over a week.
Which, let me tell you, is not even close to enough time to really...
Truly.
To get into a unit like this, or like
yes.
the Helix, or any of these, or the Kemper, all of these units, they take a long time to really get everything out of them that they're capable of.
Mm-hmm. Like Brian said, everything we think we would want or we use in like our other presets for other units, how does that translate to this in terms of usability?
Yeah.
And what can this do and what can it offer you? And hopefully it answers some questions you may have.
So this is what we've done with Quad Cortex thus far. We have done like full captures of one of our amps, the Tele HM30, which is a matchless DC30. We've done captures in a variety of ways and tried them out in a variety of ways. And you're going to see in this video, different ways you can use captures. So the first thing we've done is captured it direct via the UA aux. So you can plug your amp into the aux. You can bypass all of the aux's modeling and cabinet and microphone stuff and just capture the direct output of an amp. And then you can use a cab from within the Quad Cortex, one of the stock neural cabs. Or you can use a third-party IR, which we've tried all of that. It sounds great. We have captured the amp through the aux, so using the aux's cabinet and microphone modeling. And so done just a full capture of the amp and cab using the aux. And then our best results have come when we run the amp through the Tele cab that we have, which is a unique cab. It sounds really good. Mic'd it up, run it through the preamps that we had, did some EQs, what we typically do for like a Kemper profile pack, and then captured that. Now that's been our best results. And the clip that you heard in the beginning of this video was Bradford playing through a preset based on the capture of that Tele amp through the cab with mics, with our mics, through our preamps, that kind of thing. We have captured drives.
Well, one drive.
One drive, multiple settings from a drive. We've captured a couple captures from each side of the King Tone Dualist, which is a really high-end, really awesome sounding dual overdrive pedal. We have built presets made out of all just stock models that come with
everything
Quad Cortex. Stock. Yeah, no captures at all. All of this, by the way, available from us for free to you from the Quad Cortex app. Find us at Worship Tutorials.
At least at the time of this taping.
Yes, so it might not all stay free forever, but it is currently free right now.
Whenever you're watching this, there will absolutely always be something free though. We always want to let people taste what we offer. Yes. So there will definitely be something free.
We have pushed this thing as far as what you can do in a preset when it comes to wet effects. We haven't maxed out a preset according to CPU on here, but we have maxed it out as far as what you can do with reverbs and delays. Many people have asked questions about that of us and others, so we'll have a whole section where we demonstrate where the roadblock is, sort of.
There's more we could talk about, yeah.
Yeah, what Neural has said they're going to work on and how it's going to get better in the future, but also hopefully what you heard was like you can get enough reverb and delay to satisfy
two reverbs
your reverb and delay
delays in
desires. Yes. So let's talk about how it sounds, Bradford.
Yeah.
How does the Quad Cortex sound?
That's a interesting question.
It really is.
Because what are we... Our brains will always immediately want to compare a modeler, at least in guitar player world, I think, to something.
Yeah.
Like, what do we compare?
Right. It's the comparison game is relentless.
Yeah. And, well, even on
Compared
just
to
a very vague sense, like, what do you, when you think, like, what sounds good to you? Because if you're thinking, like, well, this record, this tone, well, what you're talking about is a long chain of stuff. Oh, yes. You're talking about a player using a pick with strings through a guitar, with cables, the amp, the mics, the preamps. It hits the soundboard, it's mixed one way, it's EQ'd another, it's compressed, it's mastered. And if that's your idea of a great guitar tone, well, no wonder certain things may not quite reach.
Yeah.
But if your idea is just straight amp,
sitting in front of a tube amp,
then
cranked up,
you still may not be happy with
modelers. You will not love a modeler if you were looking to get the I'm sitting in front of my tube amp at 110 decibels.
You could have your thoughts, your perspective shifted.
Well, there's ways you can get around it too.
Yeah, this right here is, regardless of whether it's our captures or like Neural's models, is a chain of things to create the amp.
To create a tone.
To create a tone, your bass tone, just amp sound. So with all of that and with all of like the experience we have with all these different modelers, which that's really why we do what we do. Like it kind of just happened. It started with Helix and it kind of just kept happening.
5 years ago our journey began.
Yeah, we're like, what this is our lot in life. This is the hand we've been dealt. We'll take it. We'll take it. We use all the modelers, and we try to get them all to sound the same. Well, not the same. We try to get them all to sound
as good as they possibly can.
And using all of them has
to
helped.
our tastes. Yeah.
Yes. And so I say all that to say, I think this sounds different. It's got some characteristics that are different in the tone, but it sounds very good.
It does. And I will say about the captures, let's talk about that for a bit.
Okay.
The captures. When we captured the Tyler HM30, it sounded exactly like the mic. So like when you do the capture, you get to hear the mic'd amp and then the Cortex, the capture. And you can just A/B, turn them on and off, turn them on, 1 2 1 2 1 2, A/B. And it's like there were some captures where it's like I can hear a difference, just slightly.
But it's hard to tell if that was even just volume.
Yeah, it could be. Sometimes it's a little different volume, but there were most of the captures we did, and we did about 8 captures. No, we did more than that.
We did more.
12,
we kept
refining
we went to
channel
and
2.
Figuring stuff out. Yep, that's true too.
Oh yeah, we did 16 captures.
We did a good bit.
Okay, so out of 16 captures, I'd say the majority of them were like, we can't hear the difference.
Yeah, and for reference, we ran
like
microphones in the cab in another room, and so we were hearing everything out of the monitors. The amp wasn't right next to us, so we heard what we were listening to
the mic'd version.
What we sent into the Quad Cortex, the audio that we sent, the mics, the preamps, the compression. Well, we didn't do any compression.
EQ.
The preamps, the EQ, what we did to it to get it to sound how we wanted. We heard that and then switched over to what we captured, and we were like, "That's
the capture." They don't sound different.
That's a credit, I guess. We could say I guess we're proud of ourselves, but that's more of a credit to
the capture
to
tech.
Neural.
The capture tech is awesome.
It's
super
ridiculous.
Accurate. We have the same experience with Kemper. When we do Kemper profiling, and once you get through the refining and all that, it's like you A/B them, and it's almost impossible to tell the difference.
Yeah.
And so this video is not going to be a Kemper profile versus Quad Cortex capture, comparing them. We'll say in our experience, the end result is similar in the fact that it's very difficult to hear the difference between the amp and the capture.
Yeah.
And that is awesome, because if you have your sound in your amp and your microphones and your cab, you can have it in the Quad Cortex.
Yep.
Pedal captures, exactly the same thing.
Even easier, actually.
Yeah, the pedal captures are easier to do. Because there's no miking and all that stuff involved.
Quarter inch out of this thing into the pedal, back out of the pedal, back into this.
Push the buttons and it's
done. Push the buttons and it's done.
Okay, let's talk about the modeling.
All right.
So the capture tech, awesome. How do the models sound? Well, first of all, let's let you hear a clip so you can judge for yourself. Okay, so what you heard was Bradford playing through our patch. Let me just pull it up here. Our AC30 preset, which also is available for free to you from the Quad Cortex app. The model sounds like an AC30, does it not?
It
I mean, it
does.
sounds just like an AC30. We used the Brit Blues, so Blues Breaker drive and an 808 drive to get the drive sounds on in this preset, and they sound like a Blues Breaker and an AC or and an 808.
Yeah.
So the modeling in this thing sounds great. I personally think that when you played through the capture preset that we did, I liked that tone better.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether I liked it because it's the HM30 amp I like more than like the AC30 that they modeled, the specific one that they modeled. That could be any number of things. Could be the cab, could be the microphone, like way we mic'd it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think the models sound really good.
They do.
Let's talk wet effects. I have seen people say in videos, forums, social media, whatever, that the reverbs and delays in the Quad Cortex are eh. I would wholeheartedly disagree with that.
Yeah, we could either talk 30 seconds on this or 30 minutes on
Or
this.
we could just play. Let's just show some reverbs and delays. We're back to this Tyler HM30 preset. Right now we have
well, let's just showcase
tape delay.
The straight tone so they can appreciate this.
Okay, here we go.
I'm so into that.
Here are the delay options that you have. You have a digital delay, you can mono or stereo, ping pong delay, simple delay, mono or stereo, and tape delay. The selection at the time of we're making this video is limited to that. I'm sure that they're going to add more stuff to it down the road. The options that you have available are really good though. So you can see all the options here. The wow and flutter controls that you have. The high and low pass, you can really tailor this delay. And I think it sounds really good. So the delay is on. Let's hear what it sounds like.
That's nice.
It gets all like, it does the thing tape delay does that makes tape delay
like
so
you hear
great.
it kind of sound like crinkly, like a tape.
Okay, so that's like the main delay that we've got here. Let's turn on this reverb that we've got. The main reverb, or like the subtle sort of always on, is a hall reverb. Here's another thing about the reverbs. Let's just show you the options that you have. Ambience, which is like very short, like being in a room. You've got cave, you've got hall, which is what we've chosen here for this subtle delay. Modulated, which is like, it's beautiful.
We'll get there.
Room and spring, and then spring has a mono version as well. So this is our hall setting, so go ahead and play this. You can hear what it sounds like. It's rich. It sounds good.
Just that I have so much appreciation for.
Yeah.
It's just nice.
Okay, so what we want to show you though is this modulated reverb. It sounds so good.
So good. If you watched our vlog, I got lost in it.
Yeah.
And Brian edited that because I just kept playing. But
yeah, we'll play some more, Bradford. Now here is the other limitation that we've run into with reverbs and delays. So the first, I guess, limitation you could talk about is the lack of choices. Although I think the choices that we are presented with are great. Like, as far as like, I mean, there's not like weird delay, like crystal delays like you can get from Kemper or Axe effects, that kind of thing. Although there are great pitch effects in here.
Oh yeah, the pitch.
Yeah, the POG type of stuff is really good. So the reverbs and delays are sort of at a base level at this point. They've given us a great selection.
Option wise.
Yeah, option wise. Sound quality wise, I think they're great. I mean, they really did a good job. I've seen people say they don't sound that good, and it makes me wonder what's wrong with their ears. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like that.
That modulated reverb is really, really good. The second issue we've run into is I don't know if you want to call it a DSP issue, because check this out. You can do a CPU monitor, and this preset with all of this stuff is at 60%. And like we've got 3 captures, 2 of them drives, 1 amp, a compressor, a pitch effect, that's a POG, polyoctave pitch effect. What else is in here? What is this thing? Oh, that's the polyoctave. Oh, that's a separate overdrive that's just left over from somewhere else. So there we go. We've got 2 delays, 2 reverbs, an EQ, and 2 modulation effects, a tremolo and a chorus. And we're at 60%. So you might think to yourself, adding another amp in there should be no problem, which it's not. You can add another amp in there. You might think like, well, I should be able to add like way more delays and reverbs, because the CPU...
Or at least 1 or 2 of each.
The CPU is there. Now, here's what happens. When you go to add another delay or reverb, you are left with only the mono options, which is fine, but if you want to retain your stereo image, if you go to add another reverb, you have even fewer choices. You only have the spring reverb.
Yeah.
Which, for the type of stuff that we're doing, all the ambient stuff, you really would like either Hall or modulated, probably.
Yeah.
To pull that off. And so...
you can't even get the ambience, which is...
Yeah.
To kind of give it some space.
That's on this bottom row that only has 5 blocks in it. An EQ, 2 modulation, delay, and reverb. The way I understand it, if we're wrong, correct us in the comments, but the way I understand it is row 1 and 2, which is this one and this one, use the 2 of the DSP chips, 1 and 2.
I don't
know if each row uses a DSP chip or if 1 and 2 use the first 2 chips altogether. I'm not exactly sure. But then rows 3 and 4 use the 3rd and 4th DSP chip. So you want to spread your effects out over over all 4 rows to get the most out of it, which is what we've done. So we can't add you can't add a stereo delay or a non-spring reverb in this bottom row. In the top row, it's the same situation. Delay, the only thing available are mono, and no, you can't add any reverbs on the top row. So I understand, from what I've read, that it might be a memory issue. So if you're familiar, if you computer design or whatever, I'm not like into that, but you have the CPU and you have the RAM, and they do different things. Mm-hmm. And you have the hard drive as well, and the RAM, so it has to do with the way things are loaded into RAM, apparently. I might be wrong on that. All I know is Neural have said that they are working on this, and there will be improvements made to the algorithms of these.
It's just like the way things are distributed and utilized.
Yeah.
It's like it's something they're able to fix. And actually, Doug, the CEO, the founder of Neural, commented on our other videos, and he's like, yes, it's being worked on. Honestly, though, all in all, it would be nice to maybe...
Do you feel hamstrung? That's the question.
Yeah, that's the real question. No, I don't feel hamstrung at all. Would it be nice to throw another verb for swells or something?
You can have another delay. You can throw another delay in up here. Like, this is where the signal is still mono, so you can do any of the algorithms except ping pong as a mono delay. And you'd have another delay. Like if you want an 8th note delay or something really washy underneath, you could totally add that.
Which is fine, because I don't think stereo delays really create more of an image. Mm-hmm. I think it's not quite the same as a stereo reverb. But
but you're right. The thing you might want is another reverb, another bigger reverb for swells, and you can't get it in this patch in its current firmware, but what we can do is go to scene mode.
That's a good segue, Brian.
Yeah, and this video is getting long. I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time. We can do separate videos on this, but we have scenes set up. Here they are. That's cool, by the way. Just swipe. It's like a phone. All right. You got clean drive.
That's
drive,
another thing.
Drive
this screen
caret.
is ridiculous.
Drive caret. No, let's make that drive plus. Right? Where's the plus sign? Help me, Bradford.
Right there.
Now it's Drive Plus. All right, that's how easy it is to do this stuff. All right.
But that screen is ridiculous.
In swells, which is scene H, you can see that as you go to scene H, look, the decay and the mix went up. Yeah. So you can adjust parameters of your effects per scene. So for our swells scene, we've gone huge reverb. And we tried this out. We can actually demonstrate it right now. So if you go from scene H to scene A, you can see that the decay and the mix come down and they go back up. Like if we go from H to A, like the decay feels pretty natural. Let's try it.
It's still shorter than, like, it doesn't just keep trailing, but that's because, like, imagine somebody taking the decay knob and actually turning it for you.
Usually that doesn't result in greatness.
Yeah.
But this is pretty
good.
There's
no weird sounds. There's no quirky, like...
And now when you play... So that felt really natural to me, even though you're moving parameters on a reverb block.
Yeah.
The decay was nice. So I feel like they really nailed that. Like, and that's not easy to do. We do that kind of thing with Helix and Axe effects and fractal stuff a lot, where we adjust parameters on reverbs and delays, and it's never that smooth.
No.
Like, they nailed it. So in addition to just like playing through this, just playing samples like what you heard in the very beginning of this video, we wanted to showcase how this thing would work if you approached it like I play a lot, is making a separate preset per song.
Yeah.
And then the scenes like correspond to the, you know, verse, intro, chorus, bridge, that kind of thing. And then we put it to the actual track of the song. It's buried. The track is buried, but it's there. And so Bradford and I have recorded several clips of different songs that are popular right now in churches. And for these samples, what we did was we took the direct capture of the HM30 and we used a neural cab. So if you've got like really cool amps and you've got something like a aux or a captor, two notes captor, you're able to make direct captures of all those amps. You don't even have to worry about mics and really loud cabs and mics and stuff
to do it.
Yeah, you can just capture direct and use a neural cab and it sounds great. And here's an example of that. Quad Cortex, it can P&W just fine. There's so much we haven't talked about.
Oh yeah.
On this thing, like just the workflow and the touch screen. You've seen us use it just a little bit here.
There's no editor yet.
Awesome.
And like it's still like I don't feel as Kemper is not fun.
No, not fun to use at all. I always like to say Kemper is like if the TI-85 calculator was a modeler device. That's what the Kemper is. I loved my TI-85 back in the day.
Oh yeah, I played all the games.
I mean, I actually did math with it.
Well, I did some, but I played games.
Oh man, so this feels like a very modern device, probably the most modern feeling
it is
of all of the
without a doubt
modeling things that we've experienced.
Without a doubt.
And I really think that they're going to influence the entire market moving forward.
Sure.
With
I could see that too. Absolutely.
With the design and the UI and everything of this thing. It feels like if Helix had a touchscreen is what this thing feels like.
In some ways.
Yeah.
Like in
really cool.
in the layout and all, for sure.
Yeah. So it's very easy to use. It's a lot of fun to use. It's pretty cool, like what you can do with signal flow with it.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna have lots more to come. This is going to be a part of the units that we create presets for.
Yeah.
And captures, whatever. We got a handfuls of drives we're gonna do.
Bradford has all the drives.
I have loads, and we wanna show you them. But this was just kind of like, okay, we've had it for a week. Mm-hmm. We've experimented, and that doesn't mean we haven't been spending hours on it every single day for like the last 12 days, 10 days.
Yeah.
But we think that if you get the unit, or if you're watching this video trying to decide to get the unit, and this speaks to you, you like how it sounds, I think that's where we're at nowadays.
Yeah.
Find the unit that speaks to you.
You gotta play what inspires you. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that before, right? But if you're grabbing this, maybe you have one, and you're trying to just see like how to utilize it. I hope that this kind of shows you a good little bit of what we've learned and help you realize that it doesn't take much to get up and running, to get your sounds and dial things in. It's pretty intuitive. We're still learning some things about it, learning just what it does, how it sounds, what it does to captures, how to make captures. We learned some things while we were capturing that how to do things differently. I don't know. All that to say, this is a new thing we're trying to learn, and I think we love it.
Yeah,
so, very
it's
cool.
great.
Very
it's
cool.
Great. And you know what? You might say to yourself, Brian, you haven't played this guitar. You're sitting here the whole time. I played it. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel,
please.
What are you waiting for? Now is your time. This is your moment of glory. Do it. Press the button. Hit the bell so you get notified when we upload new content, which might be about the Quad Cortex. So there you go. Why wouldn't you? I can't think of a reason. All right. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.